About chapter 35, Josiah keeps the Passover. Josiah kept the Passover to the Lord in Jerusalem. When they slaughtered the Passover lamb on the 14th day of the first month, he appointed the priests to their offices and encouraged them in the service of the house of the Lord. And he said to the Levites who taught all Israel, who were holy to the Lord, "Put the holy ark in the house that Solomon the son of David, the king of Israel, built. You need to carry it on your shoulders. Now serve the Lord your God and his people Israel. Prepare yourselves according to your father's houses by your divisions, as prescribed in the writing of David, king of Israel, when documented Solomon his son. And stay in the holy place according to the groupings of the father's houses of your brothers, the lay people, and according to the division of Levites by fathers' households. And slaughter the Passover lamb and consecrate yourselves, and prepare for your brothers, to do according to the word of the Lord by Moses." And Josiah contributed to the lay people as Passover offerings for all who were present, lambs and young goats from the flock to the number of 30,000 and 3,000 bulls. These were the king's possessions, and his officials contributed willingly to the people, to the priests and the Levites. Hilkiah, Zechariah, and Jehiel, the chief officers of the house of God, gave the priests for the Passover offerings about 3,000 Passover lambs, 300 bulls. Coniah also, Shemaiah, and Nathaniel, his brothers, and Hashabad, and Jeiel, and Jozabad, the chiefs of the Levites, gave to the Levites for the Passover offerings 5,000 lambs and young goats and 500 bulls. When the service had been prepared for the priests stood in their place, and the Levites in their divisions, according to the king's command, they slaughtered the Passover lamb and the priests through the blood that they received from them, while the Levites flayed the sacrifices, and they set aside the burnt offerings that they might distribute them according to the groupings of the fathers' houses of the lay people, to offer the Lord, as it is written in the book of Moses, and so did with the bulls. And they roasted the Passover lamb with fire according to the rule, and they boiled the holy offerings in pots and cauldrons and in pans, and carried them quickly to all the lay people. And afterward they prepared for themselves and for the priests, because the priests, the sons of Aaron, were offering the burnt offerings and the fat parts until night. So the Levites prepared for themselves and for the priests and the sons of Aaron. The singers, the sons of Asaph, were in their place according to the command of David, and Asaph and Heman and Jeduthun the king's seer, and the gatekeepers were at each gate. They did not need to depart from their service, for their brothers the Levites prepared for them. So all the service of the Lord was prepared that day to keep the Passover and to offer burnt offerings on the altar of the Lord, according to the command of King Josiah. And the people of Israel who were present kept the Passover at that time, the feast of the unleavened bread, 7 days. No Passover like it had been kept in Israel since the days of Samuel the prophet. None of the kings of Israel had kept such a Passover as was kept by Josiah, the priests and Levites, and all Judah and Israel who were present, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. In the 18th year of the reign of Josiah, the Passover was kept. Josiah killed in battle. After all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, went up to fight at Carchemish on the Euphrates, which would have been about Syria. And Josiah went out to meet him, but he sent envoys to him, saying, What have we to do with each other, king of Judah? I am not coming against you this day, but against the house of which I am at war. And God has commanded me to hurry. Cease opposing God, who is with me, lest he destroy you. Nevertheless, Josiah did not turn away from him, but disguised himself in order to fight with him. He did not listen to the words of Necho from the mouth of God, but came to fight at the plain of Megiddo. And the archer shot King Josiah, and the king said to his servants, Take me away, for I am badly wounded. So the servants took him out of the chariot and carried him in the second chariot and brought him to Jerusalem. And he died and was buried in the tombs of his fathers. All Judah and Jerusalem mourned for Josiah. Jeremiah also uttered a lament for Josiah, and all the singing men and singing women have spoken to Josiah in their laments to this day. So the name of Josiah is very strong excuse me, in Jerusalem to this day. They made these that rule in Israel. Behold, they are written in the laments. Now the rest of the acts of Josiah and his good deeds, according to what is written in the law of the Lord, and his acts first and last, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. I have a map here. It says Josiah's reforms in his battle with Necho, 628-609 BC. Early in his reign, King Josiah of Judah launched a massive effort to abolish pagan or satanic worship throughout Judah and the land of Israel, and to refurbish the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem. At the same time, the waning powers of the Assyrians allowed him to add much of the land of Israel to his kingdom. Josiah met his death at Megiddo. However, as he sought to prevent Pharaoh Necho II of Egypt from reaching Carchemish to assist the Assyrians, who were being attacked by forces from the rising Babylonian Empire. So this is when basically the Assyrian Empire is falling, and the Babylonian Empire is starting to rise. So, of course, you see that. The map here says Necho advances to aid Assyria, and of course he comes from Memphis, Egypt, goes through, or no, he goes from Memphis, Egypt, all the way up to Megiddo in Israel, and then Josiah battles Necho at Megiddo, of course, and the Babylonians attack the Assyrians at Carchemish, and clashed the forces, or the wars took place at Megiddo and at Carchemish. So there's a lot of war going on there. And here's the map of that right there. See that right there. There's a lot of war going on. You had, of course, Egypt is going to go through Israel to help attack the Babylonians, help Syria. Well, Israel attacked Egypt, but in that, of course, Josiah dies, and of course the Babylonians end up attacking the Syrians, which then Syria falls because Egypt can't help them because Israel attacked Egypt. So there's a lot of war there going on. That's 35. Josiah keeps the Passover, excuse me, and Josiah is also killed in battle. 35. I'll be right back with 36 here very shortly.